Hello, this is Will from JourneyWallStreet.blogspot.com. I'm here for the trade reviews made on June 6, 2012. So as I mentioned in my little post there, the honey badger will be pretty upset at me. He was there when I had a string of bad trades and came roaring back with a couple of really great trades, and only for me to piss it all away towards the end of the day. I got some back, but I shouldn't have to deal with so much pain in order to get it back. And it's easy fix. I mean, just stop taking all these subpar trades and just wait for my pitch. But time and time again, I proved that I cannot do that, and I really need to fix why. But anyways, let's just go to the reviews. So I was in Facebook, regrettably so. I was sort of watching a trade down here, and suddenly that thing just spiked up, and it started to pull back here into the EMAs, and this is when I got involved, and it didn't work, and I got stopped out. Later on, I made some foolish trades around this inside bar, and it just, I don't know, I just got really chopped up. I tried to go long, it didn't work. I tried to go short, it didn't work, and it was just bad trading. This whole I just can't trade Facebook. I probably only had like one good trade in Facebook, and that was the day of the IPO when I bought it at the 38. Other than that, I think I have been consistently losing in Facebook. So I think it's time to move on and stop trading it. I guess. Goldman, kind of frustrating trade here. If you notice, towards the end of the day, had a little pullback, right? And then had a little inside bar on the pullback. And I try to get involved here. And for whatever reason, I saw the 5-minute inside bar up here. And instead of leaving my stop where it should have been, I moved it below this inside bar. And of course, that stopped me out, caused me to get back in, which stopped me out again, and then it made its move without me. So if I were to maintain my original shares with my original stop, with my original play, then I would have pretty much hit my target. So this is just me trying to do too much, and everything I did kind of hurt me more than it helped me. So although I kind of liked the play, I didn't like me getting back in. That was just a mistake, and it's gonna happen from time to time. You just gotta learn and move on. You know, these just aren't the trades I should be making, especially after a pretty decent day. ZNGA, I was in this because of I believe it was a 5-minute inside bar early on. It was a 5-minute pullback play. Kind of pulled back into this EMA, and I just bought up here. And my stop was below there, and I got stopped out. I gave it another try with the stop below here, and it didn't work. So eventually it would have, had I been more patient and stuck with it, but I gave it my tries, it didn't work, so be it. ULTA, I was kind of upset at this trade too. So I was looking at it from a 5-minute early in the morning. Noticed it was kind of flagging here at the time. So I was just looking at these 3 candles here. So I bid 94s, and I set my stop really tight, and of course I got filled, and I got stopped out right there on the EMAs. And after that, I kind of gave up. But had I stuck with it, I would have noticed that it clung onto these EMAs very nicely, then started to flag more offered a really nice opportunity to get in here, another opportunity to get in here, another opportunity to get in on this pullback right into the EMAs again, and then probably take my profits somewhere around there or into the highs here. Yeah, around there. But after I got stopped out here, I gave up. I didn't even look at it anymore. I would peek back later and saw like, oh crap, it's trading at $97, about $3 from where I purchased. So there was a mistake. I had the right mindset. I mean, good stock selection, but just terrible play and just impatient and not waiting for the play to develop or not waiting to see what happens next and moving on too quickly. And I just gotta learn. This was in play because of earnings. So I should have kept this on my radar somehow. Just kept it there. But I didn't. Netflix, I lost money on this, but I'm not really mad at the trade. My whole idea was a kind of a mean reversion trade, where essentially it was just kind of fading this up move and having it get to closer to the EMAs, and it did that sort of, and then it bounced right up and through. So that kind of stopped me out there. So I don't really hate this trade. The thing that I hated the most was I didn't recognize that it was sort of flagging here, and that signal when it bounced off of this EMA and it broke through above this inside bar. If you look at it, it was also above a 30-minute inside bar sort of type of move. And yeah, really nice inside bars here on the 13. It looks kind of cleaner on a 13. You see how it just bounced off of there, came back through and supported again. That should have been my trigger to go long. There's a little pullback break and also these inside bar breaks. So I don't regret the initial trade because I had somewhat of an idea of what I wanted to do, but just this the fact that I didn't follow through with it the rest of the way, and it would have been a really nice trade. Could have very easily drawn a trend line there and probably hit out around here. And this trade was easy to make, but again, after I got stopped out, I gave up on it and didn't really have a plan or further analysis of what I could do if it went the other way. So this is just poor trade analysis from my end. It was just me trying to get some instant gratification in a potential trade setup and not really much fully developed thought process in the entire trade, rather than just the little entry point at hand. Just more things to work on. Select Comfort, really bad based off of Tempur-Pedic's news. So I wanted to get long if it broke out of this. Initially I thought it was going to be somewhat of a pullback into the EMAs. So I just kind of waited for this to continue trading down and pulling back, because my idea was to get long at some point. Once it bounced off the EMAs, that's when I purchased right down there. And as you can see, EMAs kind of failed, and I got stopped out right below that little wick there, so close to that red line right there. And eventually it would do its thing. I was kind of expecting a gap fill above 22, and it's on its way. It didn't do it, but it was on its way. Maybe the best trade would have been a mean reversion against this and short below. That would have been a great trade. But yeah, I wanted to try the EMA bounce, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. So took a small loss on this. I don't hate the trade. I had I had a plan. I executed the plan, and it just didn't work. TPX, same sort of deal where I had a plan, executed, and it did not work. So I wanted to see it. It pulled back, came back down, and pulled back again. And down here, I thought that there would have been some buying around this 25 area. So I bought some too, and I had my stop right below it, and it didn't work. I got stopped out. Not a big deal. I was super small sized, and I gave it a try. Would have been a nice flip, but because it was uptick rule, I couldn't really short. It was difficult to short the stock. But I mean, in hindsight, you look at all these plays right here. Very nice pullback opportunity. Oops. Especially with this kind of an inside bar here. That would have been a great trade. Kind of a EMA catch where EMA used as resistance. This and another inside bar here. That would have been a great short trade too. But again, my problem was I was looking for a bounce, and that bounce never happened. So that's fine. Next trade, the one that kind of saved my afternoon, was in LULU. I was looking at this from a 15-minute chart. You see right here a very nice bear flag was developing. So my thought process was I wanted to get short on this bear flag. I could have shorted the break of it below before this candle happened. This was starting to become an inside bar. So I was just doing my analysis, and there's two things I could have done. I could have shorted as close to this EMA as possible, or I could have shorted below the break of the previous candle, or if this candle here turned into an inside bar. But upon further review, I thought that a pullback into the EMA would have offered kind of I guess the best risk versus reward for me, because it kind of used after it crossed over, it kind of used it as resistance. Couldn't trade above it. So right here is when I shorted the 40 cents with a stop above 50. So about a 11 cent risk. I shorted, I think, 400 shares, so a little bit like a tier 2, tier 1.5 ish. I contemplated shorting below this the break here. There was quite a few bids down there, but I decided against it because my potential target was down at the 90s, at the most the 80s. So the kind of the risk reward from this point here is not as high. So I didn't want to make that trade. Overall, the market was kind of ripping at this time. Even though this trade worked out, I had to cover around 70. I tried to bid 90, but I never got filled. So I had to aggressively try to pay to cover around 70. So I made about 40 cents on this trade, which is still pretty good considering I was risking 11 cents. Still got higher than 3 to 1. The thing I liked about this trade was I had different options. I had a plan for each of those options. Either the inside bar trade, the break below here, or the bear flag trade, or the EMA trade, and I chose the one with that offered the best risk reward for this scenario at this time frame, and I thought it was a good trade. Next trade was in DG. I was looking at this as a pullback trade. I was waiting for it to pull back. So I believe it was around this time when it made that first push. No, it wasn't that time. It was this time. See how it was kind of pulling back, catching up to the EMAs and the first test on the 21. Notice how after it came up through pre-market, it kind of traded above the EMAs, and boom, first test and a breakthrough of this little pullback play. So I hit some long here, and I was also looking at this as I believe it was a 13-minute inside bar trade. Yeah, right here, 13-minute inside bar, and this tested the EMA, came up, and my plan was I'm going to get long above the 50 as a position trade as well as a momentum trade. So I actually doubled up my shares, knowing that my risk was only going to be like 6 cents because I was using this inside bar as my stop, and this down move already happened, so it was like a downside break and then a back up and through, and that's usually a pretty strong signal for these type of trades. So my problem is when I got filled with 99 shares on one of the lots. And I was thinking, like, what the heck am I going to do with 99 shares? So I was kind of in a semi-panic mode where I knew that 99 shares would bother the heck out of me. So I tried to manipulate my orders to try to get rid of that 99. And I forgot how to do it. And I ended up hitting out of all of my momentum shares. And then on top of that, I remembered how to do the 99. So I did all my momentum shares plus the 99 shares. And that kind of hurt me because the momentum kind of didn't stop until the 70s, and my momentum lot got filled around 58s. So I only made like 7 cents on those extras. And then when I was talking to Honey Badger about it, he offered a really simple solution: just buy one share. Okay, that made too much sense. If I would have bought one share, then I would have been able to handle that trade better. But anyhow, it made new highs. It came back, kept bouncing off the EMAs, and there was another pullback here, which I tried to get long above later on in the day, and that just didn't work. So eventually, I just kind of hit out at the 70 because I was on the way to work. So what was initially a pretty good trade with a execution failure into another trade that just didn't work as fast as I thought it would. And I still like the trade. I was waiting for this for quite a while, and when it happened, I executed. I didn't execute properly, but I executed, and I was able to separate both of my trades in my head. So that was great. Last and finally, IRM. So they had some news last night and kind of sold off in the morning, but found some support and then found a ton of accumulation going on around 31, and this was a monster trade. So I was long down here, had about 1,000 shares at averaging at 31.03, and it just worked really well. If you look at the 5-minute chart, as soon as it made this move, I kind of sold into it some, and then I noticed this pullback here, and then 5-minute inside bar on this pullback, and I bought some more here. And after that, it just took off, and I took profits kind of near these levels here, some near these levels, took some, and then finally got rid of the rest at 32.02 because I had to go to work. That was great and all, and then later on I tried to trade some more, but this is where I kind of screwed up. So this was a great trade so far, and later on in the day I noticed that this was the first real pullback, and tested this EMA, and I was waiting for two things to happen. I was waiting for another candle to test this longer term EMA, or if it kind of catches through and breaks above the high of this candle. So I was kind of prepared for this trade, and it did that, and I bought some. My problem was I mismanaged that because I ended up buying some more above 98 because of this inside bar, and then it stopped me out here. And then I tried it again at 32, and for me I used this exact same stop, and it stopped me out down there, and then it took off without me. Had another pullback here and another opportunity to get back in, but yeah, I was kind of this was a small trade. I didn't lose much, but it just, I got in at such a good price here. I should have just stuck with my stop and stuck with my play. It's me making adjustments to these 5-minute inside bars when these 5-minute inside bars doesn't mean much, especially in the middle of the day, in the middle of the range. It burned me in here, burned me in Goldman, burned me in Facebook. It just doesn't work during the middle of the day, in the middle of range. Maybe on the open because it's not as many candles, it's better, but not in this situation. And it takes these type of trades and these type of reviews to make you realize that what you're constantly doing wrong. So the goal is one day I'll review these trades, and I won't have these type of mistakes again. This video is running kind of long for tomorrow. LULU has earnings. I want to take a look at that. MW had earnings and it got crushed. Probably look at that and whatever else is in play. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.